Here's my promise to you by the end of this video. I'm going to pull back the curtains on the 3 secrets on how to end procrastination so you can focus, grow, and scale your business without losing out on life. The people that can change the world are business owners. You guys solve problems and then the world becomes a better place. If I can get you past your blocks, the resistance, and pave the way forward, your beautiful brains are going to do the rest. That's why I'm here, to help heal the world and make it a better place by empowering you to end procrastination. I'm Luke Anning, former growth partner at a 7-figure company, and help business owners end procrastination using Neuro Productivity. I believe anything is possible when you do the work, and I'm not just talking about grinding, about the inner work as well. So by the end of this video, you're gonna see how Neuro Productivity can change your life and business forever. Let me tell you a quick story about one of the most influential entrepreneurs of our time, Tony Robbins. We all know Tony as the powerhouse who commands stadiums of thousands of people, inspiring them to take control of their lives and businesses. But what a lot of people don't realize is that Tony Robbins' success wasn't built on just flashy seminars or intense motivational talks. Tony Robbins built his empire by mastering 2 crucial elements: inner work and outer work. Early in his career, realized that traditional business success strategies, reading books, learning time management, or following business tactics weren't enough on their own. He struggled, just like many of us do, with feelings of not being good enough and limiting beliefs that kept him stuck. He let those beliefs control his future. Instead, he invested heavily in inner work, working on his mindset, his emotional state, and breaking through those limiting beliefs. He constantly emphasized that success is 80% psychology, your brain, and 20% mechanics. He used techniques like visualization, mastery and regulation, and deep mindset work to rewire his brain for success. Tony understood that unless you get your mind and emotions in alignment, you can have all the tactics in the world and still not move forward. The inner work allowed him to show up powerfully and authentically as the person who could create the change he wanted, business and for others. But he didn't stop there. Tony knew that his mindset alone wasn't enough. He dove deep into the outer work, perfecting his strategies, scaling his companies, mastering his time, and building the systems that allowed him to work smarter, not harder. He combined the inner emotional mastery, outer life and business systems. A powerhouse formula that not only transformed his own life, but the lives of millions around the world. And that's why he has a net worth of over $600 million. Tony's success wasn't by accident, and it was the balance between mastering his inner game and implementing powerful business success strategies. And this really struck a chord with me, because for a long time, I thought the answer to my business struggles was just finding the right strategy or tool. I'd spent countless hours jumping from one tactic to another: organic content, social funnels, launches, cold DMs, organic content, masterclasses, webinars, emails, searching for the magic formula that would unlock success. But no matter what I tried, I always felt like I was falling short. There was a time when I look at people like Tony Robbins and I think there's no way I can even get near to that level. I was stuck in my own limiting beliefs, thinking I didn't deserve success or that I wasn't capable of creating the impact that I dreamed of. And every time I'd hit a roadblock, I'd spiral deeper into frustration and anger and rage, believing that maybe this just wasn't for me, or maybe I'm not meant for this. But then I started to see a pattern. The people I looked up to, the ones who were achieving incredible results, the best entrepreneurs out there, weren't just following systems, but they were doing the inner work. They were addressing the deep emotional blocks and beliefs that were holding them back and aligning their mindset and inner world with the outcomes they wanted. Therefore, that's when it hit me. Anything is possible when you get out of your own way and work on your inner game. So I started working on my inner game hard, just like Tony. So 2021, I was visualizing, I did therapy, I did counseling, I did affirmations, I dug deep, I did neuro-linguistic programming, hired coaches, broke through the mental barriers that hold me back: fear of failure, fear of success, fear of not being enough. And the more I worked on myself, the more I started to see the result. And after my first year, I looked around and I realized I still wasn't living the life that I wanted. I was frustrated. Despite all the inner work, I hadn't hit my goals yet, and I knew something was missing. 2022, by the second year, I had some progress. I traveled a little bit. I got 1,000+ member coaching programs. I got some clients. I explored a few new places. And after another year of grinding 60, 70, 80, or sometimes 100-hour work weeks, I'd explored the world, but I still wasn't where I wanted to be. It felt like I had pieces of the puzzle, and I had clients winning, but I wasn't fully seeing the picture come together. I was doing the inner work, but I hadn't yet cracked the code on applying it fully in my business. Therefore, I knew there had to be more. I needed to align the inner work with the outer work, the accountability, the follow through, the systems and the actions that would actually move the needle forward in my business and my life. 2023, it was in that third year that things finally clicked. I had worked through the mindset shifts, yes, but I also started to focus on what I like to call the outer work, implementing high-level productivity systems, structuring my business for scalability, and aligning my time and energy with my goals. And I also came across multiple studies backing up everything I was learning, where ongoing accountability support increases the probability of goal accomplishment by 95%. Difficult goals, when they're stated with clear specificity, consistently lead to higher performance. And not only did I coach over 200 people that year, but I was also finally traveling full time, living the exact life I had been envisioning for years. And beyond that, I had the space to go to an event where I made a connection with a company to work with, where they had scaled to over 300K per month, and I got to come in and build with them. It wasn't just the inner work. It was combining the inner mastery with the outer strategy that made everything come together. Now I'm sharing this with you because I know exactly what it's like to feel stuck, spinning your wheels, thinking that sometimes you're doing everything right, and then other times you're in full procrastination in your head saying, I should be doing this, I should be doing that, or I'll just do this tomorrow, or I'll just do this later, and having inconsistency within your business, and doubting yourself so much that people would think that you're crazy, and you're not seeing the results. I've been there. And I'm telling you, the solution is the perfect blend of inner work and outer work, working on who you need to be, whilst also mastering the external business strategic strategies that will take you to the next level. And this is how, before neuroproductivity ever became neuroproductivity, happened. So before Ellie came to me, she was a girl with a big heart, a big vision, who had an Etsy card business, a podcast, a side job, and who had both family goals and life business goals, but wasn't in a great spot. So she implemented hard what I taught her, like any good student. She followed the structures, the strategies, the inner work, and I've got a video that I want to show you.
Of 2022, I was in 5 stores, and now it's March of 2023 and I'm in 23 stores, just by sending people DMs on Instagram. I have a podcast, I own a greeting card business, and I work a part-time job. It's a lot. I have a lot going on. So Luke really helped me get organized. I was not really hitting my goals and missing deadlines just by not staying on top of things. So he really helped me develop like a process and systems and way that I do things. And it took time to adjust, but I can't live without my Google Calendar now. Helped me be more confident. When I first started working with Luke, I told him like, hey, I do a lot of retail sales, but I want to get into more stores. And I just didn't really know how to talk with them. And I was just overcomplicating it in my head. I'm blown away by how amazing of a coach he was. I've worked with coaches in the past and didn't really get the outcome that I was hoping for. And I kind of went into this expecting just the same thing. And the attention that he gives to each of his clients is mind-blowing. I have no idea how you do it, Luke. But he really cares about you and is rooting for you and has the tools and the knowledge and the experience to get you to where you want to be. So thank you so much, Luke, for everything. You're a badass.
Ellie has gone from 2 stores, struggling to have time for her life, to 100 stores and super close to adding a family member to her life. Hey, you might even be watching this and Ellie has had her little one. Now, the vehicle you need is neuroproductivity. And I believe once you have this, you can continue to build everything you ever wanted and more. So I want you to make a commitment with me. I commit that as soon as I know that neuroproductivity is the key to ending procrastination, so you can focus, grow, and scale your business without losing out on life, I will go all in. You guys chill with that? Are you chill with watching this training and making that commitment? Because I don't want any stragglers watching this video. I don't want you to waste your time. So here's an example. This is what not going all in looks like. We've got like this guy, he doesn't really know what he's doing. Like, he's got the basic goggles on, he's got like the oversized jacket, like he looks okay, but he's not all in. Okay, and then we have this guy. This guy is all like, if this guy is in the bushes, you are not seeing this guy. Like, I can barely see the guy's gun against him. So if you guys are like into airsoft or whatever, like, I think some of you guys might have some fun. But, okay, here's a second example. Okay, here we've got this woman. She's clearly not gone all in. She's running from the wedding. She's done. Like, no, she's not all in. And then we've got these guys. These guys went all in. And then finally, we've got this one. But this guy is just not really like rocking up, you know, got a few bits of kit on. Then we got this guy. Strapped up, he's got the elbow wrap on, he's ready to go. Looks like a warrior, he's got the eye black on, he's ready to go. This is me, by the way. So if you guys want to win, what do you have to do? You gotta go all in. You gotta go all in with this training. And as Tony Robbins said, if you want to take the island, then burn your boats. If you want to take the island, then burn your boats. So here's what could happen if you focus, grow, and scale your business and end procrastination and burn the boats. Going from working and procrastinating in your office all day to traveling the world and having your dream business like Shadi. Another might look like being able to work on multiple businesses and be in flow and go from 5K a month to 15K a month, like Chris, while spending more time with his kids and providing for his family. Another might look like getting past all your procrastination and mindset and lack of structure and no direction blocks like Camille, who went from 0 clients to 6 clients and $12,500 in less than 2 weeks. So would learning a little bit more about neuroproductivity be worth it if I could guarantee you'd work less, earn more, and create the life you always wanted by ending procrastination in your key areas? So when you guys commit, while you're on this training, I commit that as soon as I know that neuroproductivity is the key to end procrastination so I can focus, grow, and scale my business without losing on life, I will go all in. And what's the worst case scenario? You know, you save yourself 5 hours a week by just implementing better on the outer work. And over the next 5 years, that's 54 days, full days worth of your time. And I'm sure, even though some of you are hustlers, you're not gonna work 24 hours. So if you're working 12 hours a day, that would look like 108 days back a year. What could you do with that time? What things have you always put off that you always wanted to do? Or let's just say you do the inner work and that reduces your day-to-day stress. Studies show that chronic stress leads to increased heart disease by 40%. So that would be you gone. So on the flip side, you get to see kids and grandkids grow up. You can experience more of the world. And it means that you don't pass on that chronic stress to your children. Or let's say you go the hard way and you brute force yourself to do the things that aren't in alignment with you, and you try different things, you get caught in the chase and trying and changing all the time, but you follow the pathway. Eventually 3 years later, you be traveling full time without an inconsistent, stagnant business. Would that be worth it? So this is the last little check off. This video is only for business owners wanting to end procrastination so you can gain the inner and outer tools to significantly grow and scale your business. Your level of helping people, the level of people you'll eventually change lives with, is far greater at this level. So you've got to have goals that are big. Eventually you want to do 50 or 100K a month. You want to build an empire. You've bypassed the 10K a month mark before or are about to. For me, you've got to have some kind of spiritual connection, whether God, universe, the vortex, this is going to work for you. If you have a higher power connection, this process will work. You have to want to or have an existing team, have cash flow behind you, or be willing to get resourceful to make it happen. My first year in business, I went 10K into debt so that I could earn multiple 6 figures a year. People go into university debt in the UK at around £27,000 to make an average salary of $38,500 a year. So you cannot question every step of the way. I love you guys with your analytical minds, but you're trying to stop yourself from making mistakes. Every great entrepreneur knows that mistakes will happen and that as you scale, more problems will arrive. But as you grow, your skill set will improve to fix those problems as well. You have to be able to get experimental and not be scared to put yourself out there or be vulnerable. And you can't be the person who has a victim mindset, blames other people for their lack of success, or ghosts yourself. You lose connection with those who are supporting you. You can't be a person who has a big ego and thinks, well, I know everything and I've seen all of this and I know how to do this. Because here's the thing, those are the people that lose. I don't want you to be them. And you have to have gotten guidance in the past, whether it was good or bad, even if that was a sports coach growing up or a coach at work, or maybe like me, you've invested well over $100,000 into coaching. If that's not you, go and watch all my other content on YouTube to learn more before coming back. Now, I want to start with, before we get into this, it's not your fault. It's not your fault that you're not where you want to be. There's a lot of systemic problems within the schools, within your education, within your upbringing, within generational trauma that have been passed down to you. And it's not your fault, but it is your responsibility to change. And there's typically 9 key reasons that I've seen in my research and through my clients that have shown what's been going wrong. So the first one being you've been trying the willpower approach of I'll do it this time, or I'll do it later, or I'm just gonna slug it out, or this is the last time I scroll instead of do the work that I'm meant to do, or this is the last time I procrastinate before I'm gonna do what I do. But what you need to realize is the reason willpower fails is because willpower is a finite resource, and decision fatigue sets in as it depletes. So the further you go through your day, the more decision fatigue and the less decisions or impactful or smart decisions you're going to be able to make. Studies show that people make significantly poorer decisions after periods of exerting willpower, reducing chances of getting things done by 23%, according to Baumeister. Second reason might be you don't feel worthy of your success. You have feelings of unworthiness. Many people believe that they aren't worthy of success, which undermines their actions and results. Neuroproductivity integrates mindset work focused on self-worth, and this is supported by studies that show individuals who practice self-compassion and self-worth exercises are 33% more likely to pursue challenging goals and maintain long-term success. Third reason might be you're forcing yourself to work and grinding it out and ignoring the emotional reasons and emotional blocks behind procrastination, meaning you felt burnt out or you had low quality work. Studies show that chronic stress from forcing yourself to try to get things done reduces cognitive function, how your brain operates, by up to 30%, and decreases mental performance by 27%, leading to exhaustion and mental fatigue, according to the American Institute of Stress. Neuroproductivity aligns tasks with energy levels, which research shows leads to a Harvard Business Review 30% boost in sustainable productivity. Maybe you're just focused on strategy. I know you guys are. I know who I used to be. A study from Stanford University shows that focusing solely on tactics without addressing mindset results in incomplete implementation. It creates this action without alignment feeling and being, which leads to a 40% drop in productivity. Neuroproductivity clears these blocks with emotional release techniques, which have been shown to improve focus and reduce stress by 25%. And combining inner work and outer strategy increases productivity by 40%, according to Stanford research. You might be constantly switching methods without committing to one. You're doing that trial and error. You're like, hey, let me add this Facebook strategy, let me add this Instagram strategy, and let me start doing this new thing and this new project. Research shows that people trying multiple approaches simultaneously experience a 30% decrease in learning retention. Whereas neuroproductivity gives you a clear roadmap, avoiding trial and error, which improves performance by up to 42%. I'm sure you're listening to this and you might be an all-in kind of person, which I'm here for. But you might also have that all or nothing approach, which is the bane of entrepreneurs, where you set really unrealistic goals that lead to paralysis. And then if it works, amazing. If it doesn't, you run and hide and abandon your goals. The studies show that 92% of people abandon their goals within the first month due to overwhelming expectations, from the University of Scranton. Setting huge and unrealistic goals leads to paralysis. Neuroproductivity uses habit stacking to create momentum, with research showing small wins increase long-term success by 80% by BJ Fogg. You might have a lack of structure. You're winging it. You're going with the flow. You rarely set a weekly plan, let alone a quarterly plan. Without a structured roadmap, people spend 47% more time on tasks than necessary, reducing productivity and increasing frustration, according to McKinsey Consulting. And lack of structure leads to inconsistency. And not only that, this is like getting in an Uber and the driver saying, okay, well, where are we going? And you saying, I want to go to Colombia. Where? You're going to end up somewhere where you don't want to be. Neuroproductivity structured plans and strategies can increase task efficiency by 47%, because you're getting past the structural holdbacks that hold back feminine flow and creation from happening effectively. Imagine what you could do with almost 50% more time back. And last two here, perfectionism. Perfectionism, as we all know, leads to procrastination, because individuals have this fear of failing, and they are trying to meet these unrealistic standards. Research show that perfectionists are 30% more likely to delay tasks due to anxiety over results, whereas neuroproductivity's progress-focused approach breaks the cycle and increases productivity by moving past the unrealistic strategies, reducing procrastination by 30%. So you can get what you want to get done with certainty and confidence without stressing, am I doing the right thing? Oh, this thing isn't moving as fast as I would like. Oh, I'm going to have to add an extra day to this. I have to add an extra week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 1 month, 1 year. You can get things done. Splitting attention or multitasking. I used to be a self-proclaimed king of multitasking. Some of the mothers in the audience are like, oh yeah, I'm great at multitasking. But here's the thing, multitasking reduces efficiency by 40%, according to research from Stanford University. It also increases task completion time and cognitive load, as in how much stress is in your head, and how many beach balls, if you had a swimming pool, are in there, to a point where you have so many beach balls that they just go everywhere and you lose your beach balls. And I did this back in 2022. I got connected with a very powerful network marketer, and at the time my podcast was top 2%. It had gotten to that point in 5 months. But it would take an entire day to film and create and then offboard to a team to put out. And when I met the network marketer, I fell for the trap of a different thing and splitting my attention. And even though I was making 10K a month in my confidence coaching business, I got sucked in. And in the next 2 months, I dipped down to 5K a month. And I was like, why is this happening? Why is this happening? I don't understand. But eventually in the first month, I rose up a rank, I got a discount on some supplements, but I knew I had to do things differently. Therefore, I took radical action and completely cut off the podcast and the network marketing. And that allowed me to fully focus on my strategy at the time in my core business and hit 20K that month, because I finally had the space to stop procrastinating on the needle movers in my business and move at the speed with the strategy rather than like a snail. Now, if you don't know who I am, I'll explain a little more in depth. I'm Luke Anning, a formerly growth partner at a ClickFunnels award-winning company. I've been a coach for the last 4 years, from fitness and mindset to business confidence coaching and systems, and traveled to over 30 countries. But I bet what you didn't know is I've overcome my difficulties with ADHD, with anxiety attacks, with depression and suicidal ideation and attempts, with porn and sex addiction and not feeling worthy of my achievement and success, with sleeping in my car, going broke multiple times, getting into 10K of debt to start my business, all because of my internal world and lack of external systems. Now, I want to preface this. If you are struggling with those deep mental health issues, anxiety, depression, I would encourage you to seek help directly for that. Now, all of this took me 5 years of personal development. Here's the cost of what happened trying to figure this out by myself. I went from an apartment with a girlfriend at 22 to destroying the relationship and sleeping in my car and on a friend's floor, working 2 jobs to try and make my dream happen of changing someone's life for one night with a music event. I then moved back in with my parents, God bless their souls, when I started my business, realizing, why would I change somebody's life for one night when I can change their entire life with my business? But at the time, all my friends had their own places, and my business roller coasted from having 8 clients in my first week to 1 after 3 weeks. It roller coasted from going 20K one month to negative 8K the next. I got burned multiple times, having a time when I had to refund 6 people in a row because I procrastinated getting an important onboarding section completed. And then I had 15 potential client calls in a row and didn't close 1 sale because I procrastinated on analyzing my sales calls. And at the time, I lost friends and potential long-term partners because I couldn't make the time, because I was procrastinating in my business and telling myself I couldn't have both. I worked 80 to 100 hour week for my first year until I finally audited my life and realized I wasted 3 to 4 hours a day scrolling. I sabotaged sales by staying up until 4 in the morning, engaging in my addictions when I had sales calls at 7, 8 a.m. I jumped from strategy, from cold DMs to email list building, to IG launches, to Facebook group launches, to Facebook masterclasses, to agencies building for me, to ads, social funnels, and sure, I made 10K a month with every single one, but I never stuck to it. So I just kept going back to square one. And I remember getting super angry at everyone around me and didn't know how to control my mood swings. I'd go from super highs of the most abundant, attractive, embodied person to having to force myself to get out of bed. And this is why people struggle for so long. They get caught in their patterns. They know what they're doing, but they don't have the tools to break out of it. They don't have the awareness to know, what do I need to change? How do I do it? Or even worse still, they procrastinate on changing it. Now, if I can save you guys 5 years of struggle, and this is just personal development era, let alone life before, in the next 60 minutes, would that be worth it to you? And I'm sure you want the easier way, right? And this took me 30 minutes earlier, so I know you guys can do it. So the 3 secrets on how to end procrastination so you can focus, grow, and scale your business without losing out on life using neuroproductivity. The first secret is how to identify, uncover, and shift 20-year blocks of resistance and procrastination in 1 hour without talk therapy and retreats. Now, would that be valuable to you? Something that you've had nearly your entire life, to be able to clear that within an hour? The second secret is how to structure your time and energy to build your dream business, to get more done with the least amount of time and least amount of effort as possible while still getting the results that you want. Who here would want to do that? The third secret is the 5 what brain hack, so you can make instant aligned decisions to reach your full potential, and you can bring together everything that we're going to talk about in secret 1 and secret 2. So, secret 1, how to identify, uncover, and shift 20+ year blocks of resistance and procrastination in 1 hour without talk therapy and retreats. First, you need to realize where I was growing up, as I'm sure you have as well. I developed some trauma. My parents are super hard workers, love them to death, but no parent, no person experiencing this video doesn't have trauma, or that they haven't accidentally, unconsciously passed on to their children either. Which means every single person here listening to this video, when they step outside of their comfort zone, when they want to grow, will eventually reach an upper ceiling that's limited by their trauma, by their past experience. But what is trauma? Well, a lot of people think trauma is the classical instant trauma of the shock trauma of a car crash. But many people also have developmental trauma. And this is where something seemingly small, maybe witnessing a parents argue as a child and you may be making it your fault, a parent breaking a promise, a breakup, seeing your parents divorce, seeing your parents give a compliment to somebody else, or your caregivers give a compliment to someone else, or not being present with you, or maybe not emotionally regulating you, maybe leaving you to cry in your car. All of these different things, many different things beyond this, can cause trauma. Trauma, very simply put, is not being able to witness everything and process enough healthily to experience the emotions. So what we do is we store this in the body, and this impacts our life, disease, relationships, business, decisions, relationships with self. It stores in your cells, it stores in your organs. It can feel like tightness in your stomach. It can feel like that tightness in your chest, feeling like your chest is being a little bit crushed. It can feel like migraines. It can feel like a dent in your head. It can feel like aches in your shoulders. It can feel like pulled muscles. It can feel like many different things. But imagine this, you've built a strong team. You're on your journey, yet you find yourself constantly checking in on their work. You're redoing their tasks, you're questioning their decisions, and deep down you know it's not about them, it's you. You don't trust yourself to let go, because there's an old belief that maybe you're not worthy of success you're chasing. Maybe you fear that if you truly step into your potential, something will go wrong, or worse, you'll fail. And what will happen is you'll create a self-fulfilling prophecy, where these doubts will get confirmed and your worst fears will get actualized if you don't shift these emotional blocks. And in that way, you just keep your hands on everything, fearing the success that you've worked for and doubting whether you deserve it, meaning you struggle to scale. But imagine if you let that go, if you cleared the blocks, if you trusted your team and led with full confidence. Your business would grow without the constant weight of your control, and you can allow the abundance to flow. You can allow yourself to receive help. You'd finally step into success that's been waiting for you, because deep down you do deserve it. You are worthy of this. Why does that happen? So imagine yourself here. So you have got your future self and you have got your past self. And you are going to make decisions on the daily from where you currently are that are going to move you towards your future self and your past self. They're going to bounce you back between the few. And why is this? Because your past self is cut up with emotional blocks. You have limiting beliefs. You have all these stuck feelings. So you will unconsciously procrastinate and self-sabotage and create something called cognitive distortions, those little thoughts in the day that reinforce why you are this version of yourself. What neuroproductivity allows you to do is to cut through this and eliminate these so that you can make more decisions to your future self. But how do we clear this out? Well, we need to go inward. Here's what I did in Iceland. About a month before I was going, I decided 20 hours of work maximum for 20K. So that's about $1,000 an hour. And when I started doing this, I was just doing the standard strategy stuff. But rather than being reactive, like I had been before, doing it on the fly, well, I had to create the conditions for me to change. So I started being proactive, and I started prepping on how I could do my work in less time with less effort, because I knew my past self would default to just working. And I knew this because that's what I did in Mexico the year before. I spent my entire time in Mexico City locked in my room working. But this is what will happen if you don't change your inner world. You'll keep being the day-to-day reactive to all of your built up 20+ years of patterns. So I did what every big time entrepreneur does, and I went inward. I worked smarter. I needed to uncover what was happening. So this is step one. We need to know what resistance we're identifying with. And how do we do that? By you guys being clear on your goals, connecting with that, not just on a mental written level, but a full visual aspect of it. Studies have shown that a visual representation of your goal allows your brain to start changing your decisions on how to get there. So take a moment right now. Whilst you're here on this training, I want you to write down your goal, because money in the universe loves clarity. So maybe it's 100K a month, maybe it's 50K a month, maybe it's travel, work, and not lose out on everything around you while not missing your potential. Maybe it's change 1,000 people's lives in the next year. But make it really specific. What's a big specific goal for you? Don't just put build an empire. Some of you, I know, I just want financial freedom. But what does that look like? How much would that cost? How much would you need to be making to cover bills and expenses? And then how much extra do you want left over at the end of the month? You can bullet point this, like bullet point just real quick. First things that come to your mind, 50K a month, 100K a month, travel. Like just bullet point these down. It shouldn't take you too long. But once you have that, take a moment and ask yourself, how would it feel to be there? How would it feel to be there? Would you feel grateful? Would you feel happy? Would you feel proud? Would you feel like a sense of relief? We're going to do a little step here. So I want you to close your eyes with me. Put your hand on your chest, hand on your stomach. We're going to slow down, be present, and I'm going to connect with you so that you can actually do this thing. So taking a big, deep breath in with me, closing your eyes, going in, holding at the top, blowing out as if you're blowing out through a straw. And going in again. And exhaling. Now I want you to keep in your mind, have a think about the numbers that you wrote down, the visual process, or what life looks like, or what the feeling is like. And what are you noticing in your body? Having to think about that future person. Who are they? Who have they become? What are you grateful for? Just taking a moment here. Okay. So when you're ready, you can take another deep breath in. And slowly make your way back, opening your eyes. Now, some of you may have been able to connect to that, some of you may not, but that's absolutely fine. What's important is that we have some clarity on your goals. Now, in order for us to move to step 2 and fully move past this resistance, it's gonna take half an hour to an hour. But I know you guys don't have that, and I wanna cover all these secrets. And I also can't fully cover everything that's unique to you and move past your blocks. But I'm going to share with you one of the frameworks that we do in part of neuroproductivity. It's known as neo-emotional release. So we're going to do this for a quick 3 to 5 minutes together. We're going to do a process named describing and localizing. Usually we would do this over a longer period of time, but I want you guys to be the super aware, beautiful people that you are and just lean in with it. So I want you to get nice and comfortable, move up and down in your chair, shake your body out, whatever you need to do, have a quick drink of water, make yourself feel safe. So when you're ready, I want you to close your eyes. And I want you to take another big deep breath in with E. And letting out a sigh. Taking another big deep breath in with me, but we're going to go slower here. And exhaling. So as you think about your goal again, where you want to be, I'm gonna ask you some questions. I'm gonna lean into this. And I wanna ask you, what is the resistance that you're feeling in your body right now to this goal? It could be a sensation in a certain part of your body. It could be a feeling, an emotion, or just a different change somewhere in your body. Try and recognize where that is. And what does this look like? Is it a certain color? Is it an object? Is it a certain pressure? Is it internal or external? Is it a person? Is it a certain emotion? Is it a shooting pain? Is it a dull pain? Does it feel like a hole or a dent? Just notice it. There's no judgment. There's no judgment on the thoughts, the feelings. Just notice it. Just tune in. So now what I want you to do is take a deep breath. And you're going to slowly start making your way back into this moment, into this experience right now. And I want you to have a think. Where does that come from? What moments in your life did that occur? When do you remember first experiencing that? Write it down on your paper. And this is one of the emotional blocks that you'll face at every step outside of your comfort zone. So in order to clear this out, we can prerequisite all the resistance unique to you with guided questions. We can witness, welcome, allow, trust that emotion to be there and process it. And this will allow you to make better decisions. Be more proactive, be more abundant, and be in what I like to call God state aligned. And this is what I did in Iceland. Why? Because when I arrived, my nervous system was crazy. I wasn't 100% certain on if this strategy would even work. I'm in this new place, I've worked 80, 90, 100-hour weeks for the last year and a half, and I'm scared. And therefore, I called a friend every single day. But I knew I had to regulate and get grounded and trust the process. I knew that I had to clear out my emotions and allow myself to follow through on my plan without procrastinating whilst I traveled and earned money and attract the ideal clients I wanted to work with. So the first 5 days, I'd already had my plan in place. The plan was 15 minutes of content, 90 minutes of DMs and in the moment sales calls. And I had my team doing all the content scheduling and editing, initial outreach, back-end admin, and I had to trust them to do this. And then I committed to 15-minute sales calls. And what does that mean? It means I don't get to use my skill set in full of selling that's generated over $500,000 in combined sales and was the reason why I was brought into the 7-figure company. It's what I've mentored on the most and I've invested into the most in order to bring myself forward. All I'm doing is coming on these calls and asking, what are your goals and why are you signing up? Pure enrollment calls. During this time, I had to regulate. I was exploring for sure, but I was in this new environment. I wasn't sleeping well. So the emotional dysregulation whilst I was doing this new venture was scary. It was hard. But by day 6, I was at a few points, made a few sales, and I did a few more hours. I spent 4 hours just creating the base level content. But what happened by day 7, of which I didn't work, not only had I sold a $12,000 one-to-one package, but I'd also sold one high-ticket group package at $1,500. I sold another at $3,000 and a payment plan at $1,000 a month. Meaning not only did I hit my 20K in a week plan, but I made $23,500 in sales in 7 days, working 2 hours a day. And this was the same thing that Chris, one of my clients at the time, when he came to me, an award-winning chef, consultant, and mindset and leadership coach, he was not in a good place. Struggling with his family and a worthiness and deservedness, confidence block. And I was like, dude, where do you want to be in the next few months? He was like, bro, I want to crack the 10K a month and build beyond that. As well as that, I want more consistency and I want to be able to travel around the US and experience more. And I distinctly remember one of our sessions, he came to me and he was like, bro, I have so much money mindset blocks right now. I don't know where I'm stuck, but I just have this scarcity. And he was procrastinating on his action steps as well because of it. And therefore we dived deep into this resistance and we went through the steps and we analyzed where the resistance was coming from and what rewiring that would look like. And it was crazy how fast this was. No less than 2 minutes after our call, he gets a phone call from the sustainability board. They call him saying, we want to use your skill set for you to become a board member on our advisory team, and they would pay him long term. And then that way he could get consistent month to month predictable income while still having the time to do his consulting and coaching business. And beyond that, they also said that they would pay for trips for him to visit all around America and talk at their seminars. And this not only allowed him to move past the 5K a month mark, but it gave him the stability to also expand his coaching and consulting. And this took him past the 10K a month mark, where he went from 5K to 60K in 4 months. And here's his video.
Yeah, so I wanted to just take a quick moment and do a testimonial for my man, Luke Anning, who is my business and confidence coach. We've been working together for about 3 months, and I tell you, the opportunity to just kind of peel back layers of what's holding me back, what potentially is kind of triggering me in your business, in your mind, in your life, and coming up with just insane ways to knock all of that shit out. And knock it out, I mean like point by point, come up with little tools that you can use in order to create a better outcome. So if you're having a situation where you have stress or anxiety, what are ways that you can move through that, not only just to get to the other side, but get to the other side and just be an absolute fucking badass about it, right? A lot of time doing things like building out the best week possible, right? What it would look like in order to ensure that you have wins each and every week. What does it look like for coaching business, for my consulting business, and how can you transform, basically overcome any mental objection that you may have and that people may have to working with you. So I would definitely say that working with him has been more than worth it.
So this is part of the inner work. Most people do just the surface level affirmations, trying to rewire limiting beliefs or just speaking to God. And I'm here all for God. I'm here for that. But you need to do some deeper work, because once you hit your upper ceiling, it's going to get progressively slower to reach your goals because of the weight of your inner resistance is going to surface. So it's really a choice here. Do you want to keep going on like you're doing the surface level work, or actually do what the best entrepreneurs do out there? Get deep in the inner stuff so you can have consistency and emotionally regulate as you scale. So the second secret is how to structure your time and energy to build your dream business, to get more done with the least amount of time and least amount of effort as possible while still getting the results you want. Why? Because most people are winging their day to day, building businesses that are not even their dream. Does this sound familiar? You're grinding in the trenches, or you've grinded in the trenches in the past, and while people admire your life on social media, deep down you don't feel like you're there yet. There's a way to change this. Most people are stuck in a cycle of hustle because their ego tells them you can't do that, you have to grind endlessly to succeed, or you fear of letting go of control and doing less. And you might have doubts about whether structuring your time and energy really matters, or you might doubt this approach will work for you, or you might feel like you're already doing well enough, or that having a rigid plan will limit your creativity and innovative side. But here's the thing. If you still feel like there's a destination to reach, you're stagnant, you don't have consistency in your business, or you don't feel like you're worthy of the success you've already achieved, this is for you. What if you could restructure your time and energy to create a business that not only succeeds, but aligns with the life that you want? So take a lesson from NVIDIA, one of the fastest growing companies in the last 20 years in the tech space. Tech being one of the most competitive markets out there, NVIDIA now has a $1 trillion company, but they didn't reach this milestone through sheer hustle and grinding, far from it. While many companies and entrepreneurs fall into the trap of thinking success requires endless hours and constant busy work, NVIDIA took a radically different approach. They mastered the art of structured innovation, a process of focusing on the most critical, high-impact actions that deliver the greatest results. So for context, whilst their competitors were stuck in a linear development cycle, which in English means they produce one new product every 12 to 24 months to stay competitive and reach the growing demand of modern day computers and video games, which is their niche, NVIDIA adopted a parallel development strategy, meaning they produced a new chip, a new product every 6 months. And I'm going to show you how you can do the same, but for your business. But first, this allowed them to, one, get to the market faster. By working on 2 products at once, they launched faster than their competitors in a fast-moving industry, and this gave them a huge advantage. 2, they could keep innovating. They could keep staying on offense. Offense is innovation, defense is let me save my business. They didn't wait to see if one product would succeed before starting the next. They were always prepared for what was coming. This kept them ahead of the competition and ready for future demand. 3, they stayed focused on what mattered. They didn't spread themselves thin. Instead, they concentrated on products that would have the biggest impact, securing over 67% of the market share in 2023. That's 67% of the world goes to their business, their empire, because they focused on what mattered. And 4, they could expand into new areas because their processes were so efficient. NVIDIA easily expanded into new markets like artificial intelligence and self-driving cars without losing momentum in their main business. But how does this apply to you? Now, imagine if you applied this level of structured innovation to your business. What if you didn't get caught up in the day-to-day grind, reacting to every task that comes your way, and instead focused on the high-impact activities that will move the needle? You don't have a lack of clarity, a lack of structure on what to do. You don't feel overwhelmed. Even the uncomfortable tasks, you're able to move forward. You're able to make data-based decisions where you're not just going off how it feels, but you're able to go off the actual real-life tangible results. So, number 1, focus on high-impact tasks. So just as NVIDIA identified the most valuable areas for innovation, you can focus on the core aspects of your business that will generate the greatest results. This might mean letting go of tasks that don't directly contribute to your growth, but this will allow you to faster fix problems you're experiencing. So within Neuro Productivity, we help you identify and overcome your barriers. So have a think right now. What's the most valuable area for you right now? What's holding you back from taking action? What is the key issue you're procrastinating on? Why is that? And what is the underlying cause of your hesitation or resistance? Answer these questions. Put them down on your paper. Number 1, what's the most valuable area for you right now? Maybe it's sales. Maybe it's hiring a team. Maybe it's analyzing some of your team's work. Maybe it's analyzing the data. Now, what's holding you back from taking action? I don't know how to. That's a common thing. That's okay. And what's the key issue you're procrastinating on? Maybe it's doing the work. Maybe it's facing some uncomfortable emotions. Why is that? What's the underlying cause of your hesitation or resistance? And then what could your business look like once you overcome? So put this down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I had a accountability friend a while back, Chunyan. He was doing 15K a month with his fitness business. The most valuable area that we were focusing on at the time was sales. So for context, he said to me, Luke, people are coming onto sales calls and they're just not buying. Maybe I need to get a closer. Maybe I need to hire somebody to do the sales for me. I said, what's your closing percentage? Because I wanted to know some more context on the situation. He said 15%. And I said, dude, if you hire a closer and you're closing at 15% and don't know how to fix the problem for yourself, your closer will struggle with the exact same issue that you have. And then you'll blame them for being at fault, which ultimately means you lose sales, you make less money, and are more frustrated. And then you're going to burn your business to the ground because you don't enjoy sales because you don't know how to fix it. Now, if you've been listening to this video, if you just listen to that example, have you ever hired somebody and expected them to fix a problem that you didn't know how to fix? Have you ever brought somebody in and blamed them for not winning, for not doing the task effectively? Have you ever been frustrated and thought, you know what, this hire has cost me more than me just doing it myself in the first place? So we needed to ask why. And maybe you needed to ask why. Why are people not closing? He said, dude, they're just not opening up. And I went a layer deeper. Why is that? He said, most of my leads are coming in cold from ads, and my audience is women and I'm a guy, so it's hard for me to resonate with them. I said, well, what's the underlying cause of your hesitation or resistance? He said, I don't know how to fix this. And I was like, okay, well, let's look at this future side of things. I'm doing with you right now. What could your business look like once you overcome this hurdle? And he was like, well, if I close at 30%, then I'm going to go from 15K a month to 30K a month. I was like, right. He was like, yeah, that would be amazing. With a twinkle in his eye. That's going to give you the fuel to get a closer and therefore have them set up for success rather than to try and save your issue. You're setting them up for success by fixing the issue in the first place. So here's what I said. At the start of your sales calls, since you're working with women, you need to make them feel safe. Hey Name, hey Chloe, before we start, I just really wanted to acknowledge you for taking this call. I've had hundreds of women lose weight with me, and I know how challenging this can be. So I really want you to know, I'm already proud of you stepping onto this call, not just for you, but for your family and people around you. Now, I want you to know in this call, I may ask some deep personal questions, and I do that because I really care about you getting to your goals. I can imagine you've been wanting to do this for a while, so when I ask those questions, are you able to be open, honest, and vulnerable with me so that I can help? I had Chun-Yun start his calls by acknowledging the women he worked with, letting them know how proud he was of their commitment, and this built trust and allowed them to open up during his call. By focusing on one task, this one change, he doubled his closing percentage in 30 days. So rather than go through an entire hiring process, which would have been a nightmare at 15K a month, because closers only come in if you're doing decent numbers anyhow, unless you want to give like 20% of your margins of your closes to your closers, which is going to eat into your profits anyway, he was able to jump from 15K a month to 30K a month by focusing on a high impact task, a high impact fix of his highest impact problem. So, second step, reducing your time to success. Instead of working in a reactive, one project at a time fashion, adopt a parallel strategy. So while you're executing on one project, start laying the groundwork for the next big thing. And this approach will reduce the time it takes to see success and will accelerate your business growth. And you're going to have motivation because you're going to say, oh, once I've done this thing, I get to do this thing. And you might doubt that focusing on fewer projects might hold you back from success. But again, the universe loves clarity. God loves clarity. Money loves clarity. It's a 5-step goal setting plan. It's 5 steps because it makes it the simplest, easiest, least winging it way to get results. And all it takes is half an hour update weekly to keep moving. The worst comes to worst with this, you have a plan. Dr. Jordan Peterson said that's why you shouldn't get perfectionistic about it. You will absolutely be wrong with your planning, but you won't be as wrong as you would have been if you were aimless. So it's very simple. 3 output goals for the year, 3 for the quarter, 3 for the month, 3 for the week, and 3 per day. And these goals are aligned, meaning what you accomplish this month contributes to your quarterly and yearly goals. Minimal adjustments and maximum impact on those bigger things. First time you do the goals for the year and the quarter, it's going to be a little longer, but once you're in the flow of the daily, the weekly, the monthly, and just trust the process. So once your goals are clear, you can then plug them into your calendar, eliminating mental clutter. So imagine not wasting time wondering what you should do next and just executing. And you know the best thing about this is you can plan your calendar so that you can have certain days of spontaneity, certain days where you don't miss out on life. You can plan the time in your relationships, or the time for your partners, or the time that you want to start dating. You can plan that into your schedule and then have these other needle movers happening. Plan your workouts. You can plan your reading goal into your calendar and then put these other things in first. You can plan life before the business and then still have the business achieve massive results. And this is the best way to not get overwhelmed, caught in procrastination, and to retain mental performance. Imagine not thinking about what you need to do and just actioning it. Just having a clear recipe in how you're going to bake a cake, which I'll talk about in a second. But by breaking down your goals into weekly and daily tasks, you remove overwhelm, self-sabotage, and procrastination. If you get frustrated because you didn't finish everything, remind yourself, you're still doing more than you would have been doing without a plan. And with daily feedback, you can adjust in real time, just like NVIDIA does with their development cycles. So once you have all of this down, you can plug it all into your calendar and then look at your calendar each night and you're good to go. You can also smash your competition. By adopting this system, you'll be moving at a pace that squashes your competition. And in many cases, your competition is just your past self. The combination of inner work and outer work, clearing mental blocks whilst creating a clear strategy for you moving forwards within neuroproductivity allows you to exceed the version of yourself you were before. And you might still doubt whether you need this kind of structure. You might think, I already operate pretty well, or I don't have time for this level of planning. But let me ask you, how much more could you get done with a plan that streamlines your work? How much stress and indecision would you avoid? And what's the cost of you not doing this? Are you happy with what you've been doing, truly? Or have there been days where you just wish that you planned a little better or got more done? This is well within your capabilities, and you can still have everything that you want in life. 3, prioritize structure over hustle. Hustling endlessly is not the path to success. Structure is. Like NVIDIA, you can create systems and processes for yourself that allow you to work smarter, not harder. By organizing your time and energy around high leverage activities, you can achieve more in less time and without any kind of signs of burnout. And the next thing, once you do this, is you can plug this into your calendar activities and place appropriate tasks to times. So I want you to think about some of these tasks that you're putting down. And the best way where you can create structure over hustle is thinking of it like a cake. If I asked you to bake me and everybody listening to this a chocolate cake, you're gonna say, okay, but what ingredients are there? How many people are we cooking this cake for? What's the costs gonna be? Who's gonna clear all of this mess up? There's gonna be a lot of questions because you don't have clear action steps. If I gave you my perfect cake recipe and that said how many people the cake was going to be for, it gave you the exact ingredients, it gave you the exact list of how to cook it, the time in the oven, the time mixing up the cake, the time baking it. I even gave you a quick video of how to do it as well, and I showed you exactly how you can get somebody to clean up the mess for you. You're going to get it done a lot faster. Hell, you might even be able to give it to somebody else to do. So this is exactly what I did with one of my executive assistants, Jaffney. She had to create a funnel for me on a software, upload a new course with all the action steps included, and build out a foundational membership site for me as well. And she initially blocked 6 hours for this. But because we went through this cake process of building the perfect recipe, guess how long this took her? We got her down to 3 hours. Not only did this save me on the hourly cost of her, but she now had the skill set to be able to do that herself. Rather than me spend 6 hours doing it, she could do it, for one. But 2, the task actually only took her 3 hours because she strategically mapped out her exact stepping stones to what she needed to do to be successful in it. And it can be a little painful when you do it at first, but if that saves you the scatteredness of trying to sit down your task and then say, oh, what was I doing? And then, I pick up my phone and I'm procrastinating and I'm distracted. No, you're locked in, you're able to enter into flow state and you're able to go and get things done. So imagine how much more you could get done if you just structured out your tasks better. And number 4 is expand when ready. So once your core business is optimized, you'll have the clarity and confidence in systems to expand into new areas without spreading yourself thin. Just as NVIDIA expanded into other areas, you can branch out new ventures, new people, new team members, knowing that your foundation is strong. One of the mistakes that many people make when having an appointment setter come on board is that they just do day-by-day trainings. They just wing it, reactive. And when this happened for me, I had a communications specialist come on, it's a virtual assistant, and we got her up to booking 8 calls a week. But this took me about 6 months. So this took a long time. But what I did was I reflected on all of my errors and I realized that I needed to expand when I was ready. So what I did was I did things differently. Instead of rushing ahead and saying, I need a new setter and just reaching out to everybody and just trying to bring it on and then winging it without a system, I built all the foundations that they'd need in order to succeed. So not only from a hiring standpoint of doing a landing page, a clear outline of expectations and KPIs and daily inputs, I knew this because I did step 2 and I knew what was required in order for this person to succeed. I did step 2 of reducing my time to success, but this is what it looked like. I got him an outline of my funnel. I got him an outline of my ideal client. I outlined what his mindset needed to look like. I identified what he needed to do from time management. I sat down with him on his goals and what I needed to do in order for him to hit his goals. Through the exact training of qualified calls, of disqualified calls, I outlined my hottest leads for him and what tracking a hot list would look like. I did then 30-minute trainings with him for the first couple of weeks. And then after that, and I outlined a plan for him to come in and steamroll it the first month. I have people in my network that, similar to how I did in the past, I spent 6 months with one person to get to them to that level. And what's to say without these trainings that, Lord forbid something happens to them that they go, where's that going to leave you? With no training, no systems. You're gonna have to go through another 6 months of building with somebody that might leave. Wouldn't it be better if you just outlined what would work from a strategy and success standpoint, built the foundations, and then you could bring in whoever you want whenever you want? So because I structured out his development and what he needed to do in order to be successful, he was able to come in first month as a new appointment setter, only working 3 hours per day, book 55 calls from my old audience without any new leads coming in, because we allowed him to flow, because I had the flow set for him. I had the recipe for the cake as best to my ability at the time. So think about your key problem right now, your key challenge. Would you rather try and wing it and keep trying to solve that issue on the fly and being reactive and then facing all the backlash of all the problems you didn't foresee and didn't plan for? Or would you rather it take you, if you're bringing on appointment setters and that's where you're at, would you rather it just take you 1 month and then from day one they can book sales calls because you did what every good entrepreneur does and invest your time, money, energy of setting yourself up internally and externally on what would make you and them successful? Would you keep winging it? It's up to you. So the third secret here is the 5-watt brain hack. Now I know I've gone pretty fast in this training. You might have had to pause things, you might have had to go back, but don't fret. Even if you feel a little overwhelmed right now and you're like, oh wow, Luke, this was meant to be anti-procrastination. Now I feel like I'm gonna procrastinate on all of this. I'm gonna give you the sauce that is gonna allow you to cut through all of this. So this is gonna allow you to make instant aligned decisions to reach your full potential. So imagine this, you're at a crossroads, you're facing multiple decisions that could take your business in various directions. You feel the pressure of making the right choice and self-doubt creeps in. But what if you could instantly bypass all of that confusion and indecision by tapping into a powerful framework to make aligned decisions? This is where the 5-watt brain hack comes in. It's a framework I've designed to help you unlock your full potential and fast track your success by making the right decisions instantly. So what is the 5-watt brain hack? The 5-watt brain hack is a mental framework that shifts your decision-making process from reactive to proactive. It helps you access clarity and certainty by the power of your future self, past self, and a higher power. Whether it's God, intuition, universe, vortex, Apache helicopters, whatever you believe in, it's all good. You're gonna tap yourself into it. So here's how it works. I want you to write down these questions. The first question is, what would my future self do? And how I like to do this is I like to install a little goal in between myself and future. So what that would look like for me, right now my biggest goal is $10 million a month. That's like my future goal, right? You could ask just your 50K a month version. But for simplicity's purpose, go with your biggest goal. What would my $10 million future self version myself do? And I want you to imagine yourself in your future, having already achieved your biggest goal. What decision and what actions would that version of you make right now? And that's gonna be your first one. That's gonna give you a lot of clarity. The second one, and this is a dark tactic, and if you've watched one of my other YouTube videos, you'll know what this is like. But I do this because not only are you going to die, but everyone you know will die at some point. But we take it up a level. So I want you to think about real quick someone you love more in the world. Maybe write them down on your paper. Maybe it's your mum, maybe your dad, your family, your son, your daughter. Maybe it's a girlfriend, maybe it's a partner, maybe it's an old friend. But I want you to think about that person. And I want you to think of them for that moment. Now I want you to imagine that your phone rings and you pick it up and you hear the scream down the phone of their voice saying, help me, help me, help me, help me. And then a voice comes on and says, if you don't hit your financial goal directly from your business in the next 7 days, then you won't ever see them again. And I'm gonna kill them. So from that moment, and this is serious, I want you to take yourself to this place because this is a very powerful framework for getting urgency and clarity on exactly what you need to do and the direction you need to take at any given moment. And you're gonna write down what would be the game plan if you had to hit that goal in the next 7 days, or your special person or special people will be taken away from you. This is gonna force you to take radical, urgent action and get immense clarity in that moment. The third question here is, what would your past self-sabotaging, procrastinating version of you do? And I want you to reflect on your past mistakes. It might say, oh, I'd probably procrastinate on this in the next 4 weeks. Or I'd probably give this to someone else without overseeing it whatsoever. That's going to allow you to say, okay, we're not going to do that. So that's the third question. The fourth one, you start to bring yourself into alignment here, which is really good, which is what would God or my higher power tell me to do right now? So I want you to just close your eyes for a moment. For me, it's like, hey, hurry up and put this training out so that people can get their lives changed. 5, last one, is what is a small step right now? We ask small step because it bypasses your amygdala in the brain where we have fear pop up, which means you're going to allow yourself to move past procrastination fully and get moving, likely on partially that second question framework. So once those big questions are answered, this brings you down to action, which is what is that next tangible step that you're going to immediately take. I've used this framework over and over again in my life and business, particularly when I faced major growth hurdles or felt uncertain about the direction I needed to take, even creating this training. Each time I applied for the 5-Watt Brain Hack, I found myself breaking through stagnation and achieving clarity, which allowed me to take massive action that felt aligned with my goals. And even creating this training, I was like, there's so much that I can teach you from neuroproductivity, but what's going to be the things that are going to give you the most value right now in the short term? And then I can show you what the long term looks like. So those are the 3 secrets. Now, I obviously can't break down what your perfect next 3 months is going to look like and do the weekly feedback reviews and hold you to a standard of accountability and keep you aligned with your goals so that when procrastination pops up, I'll be there at your side to help you out. But I do have something very special for you. If you made the commitment earlier, where you know that neuroproductivity and the things you learn today is going to be the key to you ending procrastination so you can focus, grow, and scale your business without losing out on life, I have a very unique, life-changing option for you right now, where I'm opening up the doors on Neuro Productivity Program. In the past, I've charged $12,000 for one-to-one weekly coaching. I've done $5,000 a month for consulting. I've done $8,000 for 3 months of group coaching. I've sold $30,000 packages for a year, access to business partners programs. But my intention with this program is to have a super high success rate. Rather than handing you off into some group program where there's hundreds of people on a call and you don't get access to the coach, or a poorly built, overwhelming course or low-level membership, or a coach that doesn't hold you to a high standard of what you need and call you out, I want you to come in and get insane results, refer all your friends, and then we build an 8-figure life-changing business together. And as I said earlier, 95% of success is down to accountability. And that's the biggest thing lacking in so many programs. So right now, here's what NeuroProductivity program will look like. We have 6 safety nets to ensure you're successful coming through. So over the next 12 weeks, you'll receive a one-to-one outer phase accountability call so you don't make expensive mistakes and have real-time feedback on your actions with neuroproductivity. That way you can feel certain, guided, and we can quickly adjust on the plan where we need to, and you can hack into my marketing and sales brain that generated over $500,000 in sales, built a top 2% podcast in 5 months, and growth partnered with a 7-figure ClickFunnels award-winning company. Hiring and managing appointment setting and sales teams so you can lock in your strategy and clear action steps for the businesses you want and make data-based decisions rather than leaving things up to guesswork. Within this, we'll build an anti-procrastination 90-day plan, and you'll get everything you need to have clarity on how you can hit your goals in the next 90 days. As well as that, you'll get my neuropsycho visualization, which allows you to see your future self, identify that within your future timeline, and then you can make your goals happen faster. How fast? Well, Mario did this with me a couple weeks back, and no more than 24 hours after our call, he closed a $5,000 sale in 24 hours. Imagine if you just did that, if you just did the visualization with me and made $5,000 tomorrow. Would that be worth it to you? Now, the second safety net that I have for you is you'll also get an inner phase call, where we work on your vision, who you're becoming from an identity and emotionally regulating perspective, and I help you with your emotional regulation. We use the science-backed methods so you can eliminate procrastination and let go of the patterns of actioning and avoiding in your business so that you can reach your potential and be the person you were put on earth to be. So then that way, even when resistance pops up as you scale, kick it back, living your best life, and not be panicking and worried about if it's all gonna fall apart whilst getting all the results for your clients and your business. Now, the third safety net that I have is a private exclusive Slack channel where you will have direct access to me Monday to Saturday with a 24-hour response promise time. That way, you'll never go more than 24 hours without getting massive support from me, or making expensive mistakes, or getting critical errors, or needing feedback on something super fast, but without having anybody with experience in your network to connect with. The fourth safety net that you'll get is private, exclusive, lifetime access to the Neuro Productivity 1.0 course. As you come in with phase 1 and phase 2, and as we bring people on, I'm going to be building out a course so that you can fast track all of the things that you're going through, as well as go back over things like the neuropsycho visualization course, go back through and adjust your plan and adjust in real time and learn more. And then if you want to implement all of that in your own business and with your own team members, then you can absolutely go and do that and send them through the course. Now, the fifth safety net is the group mastermind community clinics. So as we fill up the first 6 spots, not only over my lifetime have I made the best friends in my communities, you are the 5 people you hang around with. So look at this as your hub for super growth orientated people who take action, are overcoming procrastination, and are going after their full potential and exceeding their limits. This is going to be your hub of people that are growing and winning with you daily. Now, the 6th safety net that I have is accessing my proven business building and sales explosion strategies on demand. So you'll get everything you need to scale your business without that overwhelm. So everything from optimized offers, my 25 calls a week appointment setting framework, 83x return on investment, ad strategies, effective team management, all in just 5 hours a week of implementation. So about an hour a day to do the core inner and outer phase frameworks amongst your existing strategies. Access to everything I've learned, becoming the top sales rep and appointment setter and growth partner at a 300K a month ClickFunnels award-winning company. So when procrastination strikes due to a knowledge gap, you get an instant proven fix. So what this looks like to get involved and to have your dream next 3 months. I've had interest already. I'm pretty blessed that I've filled my first 3 spots already in 48 hours without putting any ads up and dropping this training. And with over 30 market research calls with business owners making 5 to 50K per month, I asked, what would you invest in this to reach your goals? And the highest I had was $100,000. And this person already took one of my scholarship spots. Now, how does that compare to things that cost a little less in return, since I'm not going to be charging $100,000? So average salary in the US by highest level of education is you can do a doctoral degree. Now, at the time of this recording, doctor's degree with this kind of investment, somewhere between $72,000 and $102,000. After going through your degree, based on the Education Data Initiative, you're gonna make over $100,000 a year. It's not too bad, but it's gonna take you 5 to 12 years to get there. On the flip side, you could do a shorter degree. So after 3 years of study in a bachelor's degree, you could take 1 to 2 years to do a master's degree and then make an average $90,000 a year. Still going to be an investment of $48,000 to $64,000, however. And how about a bachelor's degree? So you can do 3 years of study and you're going to make an average of $77,000, just over $77,000 a year. It's not too bad, but I'm not going to charge that, at least not for a few years. For this phase, after this market research, where I asked 6 key questions around people's goals, challenges, what they're doing already, what they'd invest to reach their goals, the number that popped up the most was $10,000 to $20,000 for this fast track for you to hit your goals and end procrastination. And this seems like a fair number to me. Like, for the high level of hands-on consulting, 2 one-to-one calls a week, as well as a group call coming, a course coming, and access to all of my knowledge and one-to-one chat, that's a pretty fair offer. And that way, I can be fully in your business so you can work on the business, and I can maintain a super high level of committed, accountable clients. But even with all these investments, I'm not going to charge you 10 to 20K, and I'm going to reward you if you take action faster. And I still wanted to give you an opportunity of a lifetime for the next 3 months, despite what's possible once you're locked in with the method and you end procrastination, you focus, grow, and scale your business. So I'm going to do something wild. The investment won't initially be at this point. I'm offering up 10 price points with 3 spots at every investment level. As transparently, I'm intending to build a referral-based marketing method where you can come in, I get super tight feedback from you on the inner and outer phase calls twice a week on what your needs are and what we can do to get to your goals simpler, easier, faster than anyone else. Hence the hands-on one-to-one approach. And then at the end, you do a testimonial interview with me at the end, and we can share that to people who want to get similar results to you. So like I said, I already filled the scholarship in 48 hours. So what does it look like now? It's depending on how fast you move off of the back of this training and what you do. So I have 3 spots at 90% off. I have 3 spots at 80% off. 70%, 60%, 50, 40, 30, 20. Goes down to 10 before full pricing. I've got 3 spots at every single investment level. And I've had questions already about the 90% off already. So if you want to bag one of the last few spots before prices increase, either from the 90 to the 80, the 80 to the 70, you can do this in 2 ways. Also, just before I say this, if you grab one of these extra discounted spots, you'll also get a free extra month in the program. So you'll actually end up working with me for 4 months, not just 90 days. So if you're willing to bet on yourself, you're a business owner looking to end procrastination so you can focus, grow, and scale your business in the next 90 days with an extra month using neuroproductivity without losing out on life, either 1, you can book in with me down below if you still have questions and want to see if this is the right fit for you. Or option 2, if you want to fast track this and ethically steal a spot from people booking in with me later in the week, you can DM me the word change on Instagram and I'll shoot you a quick voice note and send you a link and we can get you started. Either way, I'm expecting these spots to go fast as I'm just about to run ads to over 5,000 people in my audience and over 3,000 people in my Facebook audience. And this training would have already been sent to over 50 business owners who already expressed their interest in ending procrastination. So if you're willing to bet on yourself, you're a business owner, you're looking to not just end procrastination, but rather than try and figure this all out by yourself through the secrets, which you definitely can, but you want to get the full grasp of neuroproductivity, have me in your business so you can work on your business and you grow and scale and focus without losing out on life, then book in with me down below, or you can message me on Instagram at @IamLukeAnning, the word change, and I'll send you a link and we can get started. Again, if you have doubts where you're like, Luke, I'm not sure if this is for me. I know I have a hardcore sales background, but I've already turned 2 people away. I don't want to work with you if you're not a good fit for me and I'm not a good fit for you. So if you are curious and you want to have the most life-changing 3 to 4 end of the year months, we're coming up on the end of the year now, you haven't hit your goals, also you're able to emotionally regulate and shift without self-sabotaging and procrastinating in your business, either book in a call with me down below or message me the word on Instagram at @IamLukeAnning, the word change, and I'll send you the link and we can get started. If you're still looking to dive in and get to know a little bit more about me and what I do over here at Neuro Productivity, make sure to subscribe so that you can get some more content on how to end procrastination and try and figure it out for yourself. If you want to jump ahead of the curve and join me on this neuroproductivity journey, just like many of my clients have done before, and actually get to your goals faster, then make sure to book in with me down below or message me on Instagram change and we'll get yourself moving. With that said, I appreciate you checking in on this video and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.